Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do another energy reading, and I want to kind of just tune into the general energy. We're just going to see what the guides want to say post-eclipse, or I'll trust that whenever you watch this, the messages here will be resonant for you. So last night, yesterday, today, we are moving through a really intense full moon and eclipse, and the energy has been hitting really hard. You probably can hear it in my voice, but I am getting over some weird symptoms, and my throat has been really wonky. And I'm hearing from pretty much everybody around me. A lot of physical body stuff is coming up, and I got hit pretty hard last week with food poisoning, and I've had 4 or 5 friends message me they've gotten food poisoning in the last few days. And I really feel that so much is being stirred up on the physiological level through this eclipse. And I posted this on Instagram, but if you want, you can think about a couple of things. One, thinking back to end of April in 2013, and were there any big events or big emotions? What were you moving through? Because a lot of the same energies are going to be revisiting. We're going to be revisiting those now. And then the other thing is you can look at your astrology chart and look at Scorpio and Taurus. Those were like these 2 eclipses we've been in the middle of. We were dealing with Taurus and then Scorpio, and you can look at the house that falls in. So like the piece of the pie, basically. Look at the number in the chart is the easiest way. You don't have to be an astrology expert to, kind of check out those little pieces of the pizza pie. And depending on what house that Scorpio and Taurus are in, those were the main houses, the main themes that have been affected through these 2 eclipses. But really what's coming up with these eclipses is it just feels like a lot of people have been in these large cycles, whether or not you've realized it. Like whatever started in that time, like in 2013, is kind of coming to fruition, wrapping up, or rearranging. It's like a different iteration of it right now. So I think a lot of people are having this very reflective period of really reevaluating a lot of their relationships in their life and what their desires are. It can kind of feel like you went on this whole life track during this period, and suddenly are all of your desires shifting, right? And it feels like that has been its own period of time where you might have had certain relationships, have certain parts of your career, have certain like things you were just really interested in personally, and you're either going to see that start to expand in a very different direction, or that might very much wrap up and feel like the chapter, it's time to close that chapter. There's a lot of reevaluation energy right now, and part of what's happening physiologically is I know so many people are dealing with random colds or flus or food poisoning. There's so much being shaken up on the energetic level. I mean, think about just in terms of a parasite cleanse, for example, how doing that around the full moon is going to be ideal, because that's when the parasites are more active and you can feel a lot is getting stirred up. And the same thing is just happening for us in general with all of the things that are in our bodies. And that's energetic. That's also, you could think of a parasitic energy in many different forms. We're going to feel that very intensely physically, and more than ever before, people are going to start really having symptoms because of basically where they're out of alignment. So this is something that it's still hard for me to wrap my head around, but it's, for me personally, when I am out of alignment, when I am spending time with people that maybe aren't fully in alignment for me, or spending my time in areas of my business or just my life and things that really aren't for my highest alignment, I will have very physical symptoms. And for me, that's often like extreme headaches or fatigue, or days where I literally can't get out of bed. It feels very limey for me. I used to struggle with Lyme disease, and I'll have those symptoms kind of like turn on, and when I tune into it, the guides would be like, yeah, you got to cut that out. You got to cut that out. And when I make the shift, when I make the energetic shift, the decision, then those symptoms go away. But on the other side of that is a lot of people are being asked to slow down or being asked to hermit a little bit, because we're really being called into that reflective energy, that reflective period. And so if you're not really listening to that, don't be surprised if you get pushed there physically, right? And so then check in with, well, what am I supposed to really be evaluating or tuning into? Have I really been resting enough, right? But also because there's so much DNA activation and so much shifting within our physical bodies, that can sometimes manifest like as these flu-like symptoms. So I'll say whenever I've gone through a really big physical upgrade, which, you know, I have many times, there's been a very distinct, there's a very physical upgrade with my light body, with my energy body, with the way I physically look, with the way that all my organs are working. My physical body is changing at a cellular level. Part of that is detoxing all of the stuff that's not in alignment for us anymore. It's like the whole system gets shaken up. You know, I have had a number of times in my life where I have gotten extremely sick, and a couple days later or the week later, I wake up and I look like a completely different person. I have spiritual gifts just turn on. I notice that certain systems within my body work completely differently, and it's sort of like a whole reboot of the system. So staying really hydrated is really important, but just recognize like a lot of this is really going to hit us physiologically. What's happening is, for a long time, you know, people still think like the spiritual energetic realm is a separate thing from what's happening physically. We sort of separate them, and they're not separate. They're one and the same. And so we're really going to start to see this merging. And this is very similar to how we're seeing, like, you know, how do we get from the idea of the new earth to actually living the new earth, and what's it going to look like to have like different realities all in the same earth plane? We're really going to start to see some interesting things with things like merging into the physical. It's going to be so obvious, oh, this isn't separate. It's not separate. It's all connected. And really understanding illness in a different way. So they're saying that part of it is a deeper appreciation for your vessel and your physical body. So I would think about, what is my relationship with my physical vessel, with my body, because that is what is being asked to be looked at in a big way right now, and shifting into this energy of really honoring the physical body, loving the physical body, being so grateful for the physical body in terms of what it can do for us. And what they're saying is, you know, there's just been such an intense, it's kind of a wounded masculine energy around our relationships with our bodies, where we try and force them to be a certain way. We push them, right? We push them to do certain things. We want to shift them to be a different way, and thinking about like, how am I actually treating my body? How do I relate to it? Because for us to really ascend, we're going to have to relate to it differently. We're going to have to honor it, work with it, listen to it, particularly because a lot of nutritional and movement needs, requirements are going to shift. And when you're making the shift, guess what? There's not really an outline. I mean, I guess there are in some places, but most people aren't going to know where to look. This is new territory. And that's the energy that a lot of us are really stepping into in our lives, of like, this is new territory. I haven't been here before. I haven't done this before. Has anybody done this before? There's no roadmap for me. I'm creating the roadmap. And so can you really let yourself sit in that of like, what's it going to look like for me to actually let myself create the roadmap? And if we are disconnected from our leadership energy in our own lives and within ourselves, that's going to be really scary. This time is about stepping into that leadership energy in our own lives. And it just feels like there's a lot bubbling up around throat chakra. Relationships. I want to say, I feel like there's really there's a clean out energy for sure. You know, we've been in that energy for a while, and it's even more palpable now of like, where there's too much clutter in your physical environment, in your work life, in your social life, you're gonna feel really called to kind of cut the clutter. I feel like there's somebody who is so obviously draining your energy, and you're holding on to the relationship because, you know, it's not like they're a bad person, right? People aren't just good or bad, but like, I feel like there's somebody who is draining your energy, and it might be somebody that you're like, oh, I don't talk to them enough for it to matter, or it's somebody that is very close. It's like a friend you've been friends with for a long time, or it's a close family member, something like that. There's like an energy drain that's really obvious to you right now, and you're going to hit this point where it's like you're almost hitting this point where you need to focus on yourself so much. Like you might be feeling that very physically or emotionally of like, if I have one more thing, I think I might crumble. And this person is going to like poke the wound somehow. And it's like going to be the final straw where you're like, I'm not doing this anymore. I can't deal with it. But yeah, they're saying it's going to be a tough pill to swallow, but there's going to be, it either has to be a shifting with boundaries, like you show up differently and you're really clear on your boundaries with that person, or it might need to be just kind of like, a closing of the relationship, or just a rearranging the contract with that relationship. But what else is through this? I really want to tune into how we can move through these eclipses. Like they're saying, like, yes, it is hitting really hard. Guess what? Because it's meant to like get our attention and like wake up to where you're exhausted, wake up to where you're draining your energy. It's like they're saying you can't afford to just be doing all of these things that are like draining your energy right now. And we're really being asked to look at all of the things in our lives that are creating the clutter, to be honest. Anything else around the physical shifts? Lots of liquid. Just notice how your body better absorbs and digests things that are liquid right now, so it's just easier. And what else? There is that guilty. I just feel like it's like they're showing me there's like relationships and tasks, and it's like all of this mud, it's all of this clutter, and then you're moving through it, and then you can see the real desire underneath. And it feels like, do you have that feeling in your body of like, I just know something is off, but I don't know exactly what it is, or I know something is off and I don't know how to shift it? That's on the answer, just drops in on the other side of clearing out the clutter. So that's why that is so, so important. Okay. They're saying, though, it's like you're still in it. They're just showing me all these waves, and it's like you're riding all of the waves, and there are going to be lows and there are going to be highs. And the eclipse like hit really, really hard for people who are really opening up energetically, intuitively, who are really on the ascension path, who are feeling that intensely. And it feels like events like this, or like energies like this, are also going to really get the attention of people who maybe are disconnected from what's going on, and they're gonna get like waken up through this. It's like, oh, I can't avoid this. Something is happening because of that physical merging. Okay, what else do we need to know about post eclipse? Okay, we got some of these before. Well, we have the restriction card, which is basically, it's similar to the it's basically like you're restricted. You can't move one way or the other. It's like, I just feel stuck. You can't keep going the way that you're going, right? So whatever, it's like, where have you created walls around yourself within your own life that you don't want to be there anymore? Or where are you trying to make things work when it's actually just a time to sit and be? And this is a lot of this like forcing us to hermit. We need to just surrender to that and be in it for the energy to like open up and move through. It's like, just go inward, close up, hole up, hermit up, and then let the energy move through. Release all the emotions. I know it's been really emotional. If you've been feeling really moody, anxious, all the physical body things, headaches, so tired, achy, and honestly, it's like kind of like snappy, crabby. Feel like you can't get enough sleep. Like all of that is very, very related to the energies coming up right now. And you can't force your way out of it. So this is really teaching us surrender of like, I'm in the energy. I can't force my way out of it. We have the novice card, innocence, beginner, ignorance, new skill without practice, unstable curiosity, because this is about clearing out the clutter, realizing that new stuff that we want to step into, whether it's new relationships or new parts of our careers or new hobbies. And it's been this process to move out of the fear around that, right? Or all of the limiting beliefs, or all the I don't have time. There's a lot of like, I don't have time. Well, guess what? You don't have time not to. Universe is going to make you make time. Then we also have the love card and the partnership card. this month is a huge month for love and relationships. We're in a 6th year. It's a 2-month in terms of numerology. And so a lot of partnerships are rearranging. But it's like, we have to think about, when it comes to a relationship, what are the energetic blocks around it? It's like I just finished up last week. That's where I was. Last week I was channeling my next book. And it's all about love and relationships. And they talk a lot about energetic availability. And how much is really like, are both people actually energetically available to meet each other at that frequency at that time? And what can happen is, one person could be energetically available and the other might not be. And that can be a logistic thing. That could be they're in another relationship. That could be they're at a place personally where they just don't feel like they have energetic emotional space. That could be they're still living in a space of inauthenticity, right? So I feel through this whole month, it's really about like people are being lovingly pushed into situations that are like making them energetically available, like they're showing somebody coming out. And part of this is realizing like the person that might be most aligned for you in love, in partnership, and this could extend out to friendships as well, and even rearranging our family relationship. And so I think about that as well. If you're already in a committed partnership, if you're not in a committed romantic relationship, then this will be very relevant for you here, but it can also extend into those other areas of relationship. Really thinking about like, it just feels like all of the patterns and frequencies within relationship up until this point, you're going to realize, well, this wasn't serving me. And what's actually in my highest alignment is maybe very different than something I've experienced before. And maybe it makes me feel a little uncomfortable, right? And that's a lot of with the novice card of like, oh, I'm stepping into something different and new. And I haven't experienced this dynamic with someone before. And we have to recognize like, where we're just attracted to what's familiar, but what's familiar probably didn't work before, which is, why we're still stuck in where we're unhappy in whatever type of relationship it is. And so it's really stepping into a new frequency in terms of partnership. And it doesn't have to be so dramatic. Like they just keep saying, it doesn't have to be so dramatic. And where do you think that you're looking for a spark in whatever type of relationship? And the spark you're looking for is actually like this underlying frequency of tension or drama. That's interesting, right? It's like we can be addicted to the adrenaline response. So this is the other part of the energetic availability is really finally releasing the old relationships, right? So find a way to forgive. It feels like for us to step into these new frequencies, we have to release the old energies. So I've had this conversation with a number of clients about having ceremonies to close out a chapter of a relationship with somebody. That could just be a chapter, a certain version of it, and now we're stepping into the new energy. That could also be closing out, one way in which you used to always show up in whatever type of relationship dynamic that's no longer serving you. That could be closing out the relationship in general. That could be closing up your relationship with a place you lived. Like think about, what is the ritual? What is the ceremony to really close the chapter? That's going to be really helpful for opening up space for you to be energetically available. Then we have the live in the now card. And get up, get moving, right? So it's like, go inside, hermit. Where are my loose ends? Where am I afraid? What are my blocks? Like, guess what? Love, partnership, and think about whatever area of your life this extends into. It could be romantic relationship for many of you. If you're already in a romantic relationship that you're loving, right? Then, this is also about how are we going to deepen this and like step into this next phase. This is also about, soulmate friendships and even family dynamics. So this is coming in this month. And it's like, it's just waiting. It's just like waiting above you until you finally like open up your arms. Hey, I'm ready. I'm available. And so all of this other stuff is just getting you to be ready and available. But it's right there. It's right there. And for some people, it's going to drop in earlier. Over the next 2 weeks, I'm very curious to see what happens. But you're going to have to make a change, right? You're going to have to make a change and actually allow yourself to be in this new energy. Like new opportunities are going to come in. You never know. You never know how somebody's going to drop in your lap. And I feel like there's something to doing, like just doing things you haven't done before. So if you're in a relationship, maybe you go on a date and do something that's like totally out of the norm for you guys. Or if you're single, going to some type of event or something that's like, you would never usually do. Like there's something about just getting out there and doing something different. I also feel like, with job opportunities in career opportunities, it's like there's something about going to an event or even applying for a job or something that's like totally out of the usual norm. Like, you need to shake up the energy. The energy wants to be shaken up, and it's getting shaken up within us physiologically right now. And then can we keep that momentum going and then continue to shake up the energy in the other parts of our lives? But I mean, I feel pretty excited about this, because I really feel like there's going to be a lot of unexpected surprises is what they're saying. Lots of unexpected surprises available for you. And it's like right now the energy feels like get ready, because we're being forced to tune in, and we are in tuning in. You're going to realize, oh crap, this is my fear. Like, this is the fear I have that's blocking me from getting what I want. And am I willing to move through that fear? Am I willing to move through that fear? Am I willing to face that fear? Am I willing to step out of my comfort zone? Am I willing to actually let myself have what I want, which is going to require making different decisions, and it's going to require really closing out the old stuff? Or am I going to keep doing what I've always been doing? Okay. Look at this. Okay. So we have 10 of Swords, the Empress card, and the Knight of Pentacles. I'm loving this. Okay. I mean, this is a painful place to be, right? And that's like the energy that's been called up, like all of our fears, all of our demons, all of our pains, all that subconscious stuff, all of our fears. Like, we're being faced to look at that, to sit with that right now. And until you really look at that, the energy's not going to shift. If you want that love, that partnership that you've always been desiring, you have to go into it. Go into what's coming up right now. The Fool card, right? This is, I mean, new beginning, journey, right? I'm a novice card, right? It's stepping into a brand new energy, and this is in our lives in general. It's very palpable right now. A completely different energy is coming through. We have new opportunities. This is, it feels like a love, right? It's love, it's partnership, and it's going to manifest in the physical. It's going to be a physical thing, and also business opportunities, money, right? And our Empress card, stepping into all of that, like queen energy, king energy, really. And finally, like, it just feels like stepping into mastery within your life, and you're going to get to a really clear, balanced place. I feel like you've known what you've been calling in and manifesting for a long time, and it's right. Oh man, we might be hitting a low and being like hit emotionally, energetically, physically. Go into that. Let the energy shift. On the other side, what you've been manifesting is going to drop in. But you have to be willing to do something new. So I think I'll wrap up there for now. I will do part 2 for the membership. If you want to check out the membership, I will link it in the description below, and hopefully my voice is back to normal very soon. Completely lost it. But we're doing our best. All right, if this resonated, be sure to hit the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. Let me know if it did. Share it with somebody you know if you think they would enjoy it as well. And be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed, so you don't miss a future video. Thank you again for watching. I hope you have an incredible rest of your day, and I will see you in the next energy update.